If you never had fried cabbage before, I tell you what, you guys are really in for a treat on this one. This Southern staple has been on the tables of millions of people. And to be quite frank with you, it never gets old. So I hope you're ready. Get your pots and pans together and let's make magic. All right, so straight out the gate, we're gonna start with that smoked andouille sausage. That's chicken andouille sausage, by the way. Then we got some beef bacon. Yeah, they make beef bacon. It actually tastes pretty good. Then Zatarain's Creole seasoning. I actually just got onto that one. Pretty good. Then you got yellow and green bell peppers. Just 2 large ones like that'll do. And 1 large onion is plenty for this dish right here. Then you got your fresh garlic. And of course, the star of the show, 1 large head of cabbage. All right, let's go. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and we're gonna slice up our beef bacon. Now, pro tip, if you want your bacon to slice a little bit easier and you may not be all that comfortable with knives, put your bacon in the freezer for maybe about 20 to 30 minutes before using it, and it'll be a lot more solid than what it is right now, and you can slice it pretty easily, okay? Then now, the amount of bacon that we're using, I'm using 1 pound of the beef bacon, and all of your measurements will be down below. Now keep in mind, if you've been following me long enough, you know I like to do things to taste. I'm not a big stickler for measurements, but I will put some measurements for you guys. Now, when it was time to slice the sausage up, I was really trying to consider which way I wanted to go about doing this. Because, you know, it's common to just slice your sausage, you know, the regular way. You just slice it, boom, 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 and make like little wheels out of it. But I decided to just slice mine the long way in half, and then slice those little pieces off, bite-sized pieces. The reason I did this, because I want as much flavor to come out of this sausage as possible. So that was my reason for doing that, guys. Now, once you get all your sausage sliced up, you're gonna be pretty solid with this dish, because remember, the more flavor you get into your sausage, the better, okay? And remember, like I always tell you guys, we're building flavors right now. Now, I want to give you guys a quick disclosure, really quick. So normally when I do my voiceovers, I'm home inside of my studio, but being that life is lifing and I got to make sure I get those videos out in time for you guys, I had to do this voiceover inside my car. So if you hear a little noise, that's just because I'm in my car right now and I'm pretty much on the move right now. All right, so anyway, back to the video. So now next we're gonna go to that bell pepper and our onions. Now, as I'm slicing my bell peppers, you're gonna notice I always pretty much stick to the same style right here. I'm gonna cut the knuckles off of both sides first, flip that to the side. Once I move the knuckles out of the way, and then I'm just gonna slice it down the side. And then I'm gonna turn the bell pepper to the side, on its side. I know that's, like I said, like side like 5-6 times. And then now you're gonna lay your knife flat and slice it right across. And then that's gonna help you remove all of the membrane out of the inside and the seeds. And that's gonna help you maximize the use of your bell pepper. See that? I literally have virtually no waste. And that's what you wanna do when you slice your bell peppers. And if you follow that method that I just showed you, I promise you, you'll get those results every single time. Now, of course, you're not gonna be perfect with it, but as time goes on, you'll get better. Now, of course, my bell peppers, I'm not gonna slice them really small, as you can see, but I wanna make sure I got uniform cuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slice these into strips first, and then I'm turning them to the side, and I'm gonna just dice these too as well. Now, you don't have to do them small. You can do like between small and medium dice, like you're seeing me do. And also, if you like a little bit more heat to your cabbage, please feel free to add some chilies to it if you want to. Being that I was making these for not just myself, but quite a few other people who I know didn't like a lot of spice, I chose to not add a bunch of spice to it. Also, when you're using Cajun seasoning, it does have a good deal of spice in it already, so you don't have to go crazy with the spice. All right, so now I chose to just show you guys just 1 bell pepper, because I want you to practice and get used to it. And I chose to show you guys me cutting the entire bell pepper, okay? So now we're gonna go and hop on those onions. We're gonna just slice it right down the middle. And then after that, we're gonna go in and make our slices inside, not cutting all the way through the onion like you see me doing. And then after you do that, you're gonna go ahead and slice it in the middle. And then from there, you're gonna go ahead and make your dices. So remember, we're dicing the onion up. And that's one of the most easiest ways to slice your onion up, just like you see me doing. And I'm gonna do this one more time for you guys, okay? So just like I did last time, then slice it in the middle. Yep, do it just like that. And then now, after that, we just go ahead, make sure we got all uniform cuts and into the bowl. Beautiful. Now, the core of the cabbage, you want to go ahead and remove that out of there. So, using a knife, in this case, I'm using a carving knife that's serrated. I'm going to go ahead and slice the cabbage right down the middle, and the core is going to be fully exposed just like you see right here. So now, just going along the sides of the core, I'm going to go ahead and dig into that, okay? And it'll be a lot easier when you follow along like this and just cut along the sides, just enough on the bottom portion just to be able to pull it out with your hand, okay? So that one came out pretty good. And see that? Yeah, you don't need that. All right, so I'll show you another example with the next one too. So let me put that to the side and we'll go ahead and remove this core as well, okay? So just like you see me doing, and if you're not comfortable with the knife, just take your time so you don't cut yourself. And then you just, yeah, like see this give me a little trouble. So let me go ahead and cut it a little bit more just to release it a little bit more. Sometimes you have to do that and then it'll come out, yeah, just like that. All right, so now we get that off to the side, toss that away. And then you can go ahead and slice your cabbage how you want to. Me, I don't want mine super thin, but I also don't want it super thick. So this is my preferred cut right here. I think this is a really nice cut for me. Now, of course, you want to do this to your liking, okay? Do it to your style. You don't have to do it exactly the way I do it. But if you choose to, that's cool too. I appreciate it. All right, that's the inside of the cabbage right there. So now let's get these little pieces off into the bowl real quick. Look, you want all of that, okay? You don't want to throw that away. Use that. The goal is, what I'm gonna teach you guys is not to waste a lot of the food, a lot of the product. And what you want to do is, when you using bell peppers, when you're using onions, when you're using even like cabbage, notice you rarely will see me waste much of anything. Now, we're gonna get the rest of that inside of the bowl. And then next, we're gonna go ahead and get that beef bacon into a nice hot skillet. So notice you did not see me add any oil to this dish because the beef bacon will render a lot of fat out of it, okay? So there's no reason to do that. And we're gonna be adding the chicken andouille sausage a little bit later as well. So we wanna extract as much flavor from this beef bacon, so we're gonna render it. And what rendering is, you're basically just cooking all of the fat out of the bacon for the most part, or at least close to the majority of the fat out of it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove my bacon. I don't wanna cook it until it's crispy. That's a preference thing. If you want yours crispy, feel free. I don't want mine's crispy. Now I'm gonna remove the bacon out of the pan and I'm going to save this oil. Now, if your bacon releases a lot of oil, then of course I would say take some of it out. You know, you just want to have enough for some flavor and then just enough to get the job done, because next we're going to put our peppers and our onions in the pan. Now, if you don't have beef bacon or you can't find it, use pork, perfectly fine. Now, we're going to go ahead and throw in there those peppers and those onions. And we're going to saute these. And we're going to cook these until they're soft, basically. Now, you want to just go ahead and get all that rawness off, just to the point of al dente, which means just done or just slightly soft, okay? Because these are gonna cook a lot more. Now that they're cooking, I spread it out even, and then once they're just at the point of like getting soft, al dente, which you can see mine's are right now, now I'm gonna go ahead and move all of those peppers and onions to one side of the pan, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drop in my chicken andouille sausage, and then I'm gonna let these go. Now, so these are gonna cook until you see the peppers and onions, get some color on them. Also, the sausage, you want to get some color on them as well. And then once you got the color back the way you want it, then you can go ahead and toss in your bacon as well. And then we're gonna put the lid on it, okay? Just so it can go ahead and cook down a little bit more. Let the sausage get nice and brown. Let your peppers and onions cook. And then everything should look like this. When you're done with that process, it should look like this. Now, cooking times can vary, okay, according to the cookware that you're using. Now, next thing we're gonna do before we put in that cabbage, we're gonna put in that garlic. And once we get that garlic in, we're gonna allow it to cook for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. You don't have to let it cook that long. So now I'm putting in 3 nice sized garlic cloves, and I'm putting them in my garlic press. And depending on the garlic press you use, it doesn't, to be honest with you, doesn't matter what garlic press you use. Just make sure you get all of the garlic, get all of your garlic out of the garlic press. Getting tongue tied right now, y'all. All right, yeah, make sure you get all that out of there. And then you're gonna mix that in. Keep in mind, you only cook the garlic for about 30 seconds to 1 minute tops. And then after that, we're gonna start putting our cabbage in. And now, pay attention to this part. Very, very important, this next step. So now, you see that color? That's what you want right there, okay? If you want yours a little bit darker, feel free. If you want it a little bit lighter, feel free, that's up to you. But this is the color that we're going for right here. Now, we've let that garlic cook. Then we're gonna add our cabbage in there. Now, this is the next important step right here. Next thing we're gonna do, add our cabbage in there, spread it around nice and easy. And you wanna be sure not to overload your pan. Yeah, it's very easy to do that because you're like, oh yeah, it can fit. No, it's a reason why we're gonna do this a little bit at a time. If you have a cabbage the size of mine, this was almost about a 5-pound cabbage I was using, about 5 pounds, maybe a little bit more. So now, when you got the cabbage in there, what you're gonna do, put it to about that amount, right there, about that amount, load it up, put the lid on, let it cook down. Think about it like you're cooking collard greens in a sense, for those of you who know how to make collard greens. See how they cook down? It withered really nicely, perfect. Now I'm taking a wooden spoon just to move it around a little bit. And I see it's looking lovely. That cabbage is cooking down. So then after that, I'm gonna grab a pair of tongs and then I'm gonna basically like fold it around in a sense. All right. So I just wanna move all of the bottom contents first. And that's what I was doing in this, moving everything on the bottom. And then now I got my pair of tongs. And I want to just like fold it just to make sure all of those contents that are inside are being evenly distributed. And then now, the next thing I want to do after this, I'm going to add some more cabbage to it, okay? Now, you may be asking, well, what about the seasoning? What about the seasoning? We'll get there. We're going to season at the end. So keep in mind, for those of you who have never made fried cabbage before, you're going to season it at the end. If you season it now, you risk making it too salty. So we season it at the end. Now we added the other cabbage. We're gonna let that cook down. And after about a few minutes, depending on how long it takes you, maybe 5-10 minutes, take that lid off. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our tongs. We're gonna repeat that process again that you just saw me do. I'm just not gonna use the spatula this time, because I'm controlling my heat, not cooking with the heat on high. I'm more like a medium to high heat. Just get just a nice little toss. There you go, just like that. Moving that sausage around. Yeah, getting that flavor from that bacon and those onions, the pepper and the garlic. Oh, the stuff smells incredible. Just the way you see me doing it. Take your time, don't be in a rush, don't be in a hurry. And then after that, you want to taste it. Yeah, just so you can know where you at. So I know for me, I want a little bit more flavor. So now I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with my my Creole seasoning, my Zatarains. This already has some salt in it too, the Zatarains. It has salt as well. So now I'm taking my spoon, I'm moving it around. I don't have to take the tongs anymore and do it with the tongs until it's time to plate up. And then I'm gonna taste it again, just to see where the flavor at. Taste your food. People, do not wait till the end to taste your food. Taste it as you go. So now I know I need to add a little bit more seasoning, but I know the flavor is there. And now I'm gonna give it that last final little stir. And then after this, it's time for that plate up. Just wanna move it around really nicely. And I wanna say this, if you've gotten any value from this, subscribe, like it, share it, drop comments. And I'm gonna get quiet right here and let you all enjoy this plate up. And until next time, I appreciate you for watching. Peace.